Thanks, Green. On lowering prices, you said earlier that the actions the president has taken have worked. So is it your sense that when people were home for Thanksgiving, catching up with their family members, they were saying to each other, can you believe how much more affordable things have gotten?
So honestly, I wouldn't, I hear the question, but I want to make sure this is very clear. We take that very seriously. We take what families, the decisions that they make at their kitchen table, whether it's during Thanksgiving or whether it is every month as they're trying to make hard decisions about how they move forward with taking care of their family. We take that very seriously. It's not a joke to us. It is important to us. This is the president who talks about it in a very personal way when he talks about what families have to go through, working families, middle-class families, and that's why he's taking actions that he has. And so, look, the fact is, the data shows that the economy is improving. The data shows that households remain in a strong financial position. Household wealth is at a record high, with lower income households seeing the largest gain since the pandemic. Those are indeed what we're seeing. But we don't take lightly. We do not take lightly what Americans and families continue to feel. That's why the president at 2:00 is going to talk about what the actions that he's taking to continue to lower costs.
But why do you think it is that when you say the economy is improving and President Biden says the economy is improving, that a majority of Americans outside of this building are not buying it?
So here's the thing. When we walked into this administration, the economy was on a tailspin. That is the fact. Because of the last administration, because of the Trump administration, because of how they dealt with COVID and the pandemic, because they didn't have a comprehensive plan. The president came in, he passed the American Rescue Plan, which was able to get the economy back on its feet, which was able to open up small businesses were able to open up, schools were able to open up, and we understand what Americans have been feeling over the last 2-3 years. It's going to take some time. We get that. It's going to take some time, but it does not take away how we have seen the economy getting back on its feet. We actually had to fix the problem that we saw that the last administration left us.
But almost 3 years in office, inflation is up over 17% since President Biden came here. And you're saying that's still Trump's fault?
Inflation is moderating because of the actions that this president has taken.
Doesn't that just mean that prices are going up slower? They're still high.
It's going down. The prices are going down. If you look at for a perfect example, I mean, I just talked about last week how turkey prices, the cost for turkeys is going down, the cost for eggs is going down because of the actions that were taken. I just talked about supply chain and how that affects the economy, and that's because of the president's action that he's taken. And if you think about gas prices, it's down by $1.70 since its peak because of the actions that this president has taken. So we understand that people are still not feeling it. We get that. But doesn't mean that we're not going to continue to talk about it. Doesn't mean that the president at 2:00 is not going to talk about how he's lowering cost, right? And let's not forget what Republicans are doing on the other side of again, Pennsylvania Avenue. They're trying to increase healthcare costs. They want to get rid of Medicare. They want to get rid of Social Security. That is something that we saw them try to do at the State of the Union, right? They do that over and over and over again. They want to make sure the millionaires and billionaires are actually getting the benefits, right? And so that's not our way. Our way is to build the middle class from the bottom up, middle out, and the president believes in that. He talks about it. You're going to hear him talk about it in about an hour, and that's going to be our focus. I get.
Well, friends, President Biden has just announced some big news. The Biden administration has laid out 30 actions that they will be taking to improve the lives of the American people throughout next year. President Biden says households will begin to see less price gouging and lower costs soon. My dearest friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video. Also, to say thank you for being part of this community. Every Friday, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, all you have to do is click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning these weekly giveaways. Today, President Biden opened the first meeting of his Supply Chain Resilience Council by warning companies against price gouging and saying that his administration was working to lower costs for the American family. President Biden stated, "We know that prices are still too high for too many things, that times are still too tough for too many families, but we have made progress." The president has blamed inflation on issues like supply chains, while Republican lawmakers say the run-up in prices was triggered by the $1.9 trillion in relief that Democrat President Biden signed into law in 2021. The president said he was tackling junk fees, hidden charges that companies sneak into bills just because they can, and customers have no alternative. So inflation remains a sore point for Biden's approval ratings ahead of next year's presidential election. Biden said GOP policies would leave supply chains vulnerable, claiming that Republicans want to cut investments he has made in infrastructure and advanced manufacturing. The president also said companies are taking advantage of inflation to boost profits, are price gouging. Among the 30 new actions, Biden will use the Defense Production Act to invest in the domestic manufacturing of needed medicines that are deemed crucial for national security. More Americans are buying heat pumps, an environmentally friendly alternative to furnaces and air conditioners that can significantly lower monthly energy bills. But the pace of installations has slowed in the past year, posing an obstacle to the Biden administration's climate plans. Biden's signature climate law, which is the Inflation Reduction Act, offers tax credits of up to $2,000 a year for the purchase of heat pumps, devices that can heat and cool homes and are significantly more efficient than oil and gas heaters. Those incentives defray only a small portion of the $16,000 an average heat pump installation would cost. A much more generous program that would provide rebates of up to $8,000 for heat pump purchases, which Biden's climate law has also authorized, is not expected to be up and running until sometime next year. That program is taking longer to set up because it will be run by state governments. The typical homeowner can save more than $500 a year in energy and heating bills by replacing an older heating and cooling unit with a heat pump. Some homeowners who have recently purchased heat pumps said the federal incentive were difficult to use. Another bigger problem is that Americans are not aware that they could save thousands of dollars through the Inflation Reduction Act's programs. Just 22% of Americans had heard a good amount about the tax credits for heat pumps, while 77% had heard nothing at all. So friends, it is clear that officials still had a lot of work to do to increase awareness of the incentives included in the legislation. In October, sales of new homes fell short of expectations, with mortgage rates hovering around 8%. According to data released by the Census Bureau, new single-family home sales were at an annual rate of 679,000, below the predicted 725,000. While October's numbers were 5.6% lower than September, they marked a 17.7% increase compared to the same period last year. However, this is a notable decrease from the peak in October 2020, when over 1 million homes were sold. Housing activists and tenants' rights organizations are expressing discontent with the state of housing and rental burdens. They are pushing for more stringent tenant protections attached to federal financing for housing. But despite speculation that the Fed may have concluded interest rate hikes, some investors are betting on rate cuts. This is with the markets indicating a 60 to 40 probability of a quarter-point rate cut by the Fed's May 2024 policy meeting. Well, my magnificent and most marvelous friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. To say thank you for being part of this community. Every Friday, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway of $75. My dear friends, if you would like to enter these weekly giveaways, all you have to do is click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning these weekly giveaways. Thank you, friends, and have a wonderful and very blessed week.